Little black book, you know what time it is. 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 Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Listen, we're talking to you guys about Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens. And let me just say this now. Well done, Jonathan Owens. Let me just say this now. He has passed the marital check. What am I talking about? Well, we know with Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens last year how I believe that he embarrassed her, okay, by telling the story in a particular way where he said he didn't even know who she was and etc. etc. And it was very embarrassing, okay. Now, it caused a great divide between the black community, between the men and the women. But I want to tell you this now. If you want to have a long-lasting marriage, the Bible says 12 women according to knowledge, okay, all right. And so Jonathan Owens on this occasion has been asked, who is the better athlete? I think it's very clear. She's decorated. She's gone clear. But even if she wasn't, it would have been. It's almost. And someone might say, they might say simp. I would tell you the truth. Listen, we all say things when we're talking about our partners in a glowing light. For instance, you may have a partner who, let's say they were on equal footing. Let's say they had the same amount of medals. He might have said, listen, well, joke around, say, mate, it is me. But he might end up saying, but you know what, my wife is the best athlete ever. Da-da-da. Now, that doesn't mean that's necessarily the truth. But we say these things to kind of, it's like saying my wife is the most beautiful woman on the planet. She isn't. Okay? There are better bees than your wife. Okay? All right? There's always going to be someone better than you, right? But it's not about that. It's about, we say these words because it is our greatest compliment to say that for me in my world and my viewpoint. And so to hear him to speak in this particular way, and I saw the quote speech on Jasmine Brand. I said, well freaking done. You're learning and you're growing. It is not about being a simp, and it's not about putting your wife on a pedestal. It's about understanding that when it comes to a marital principle, never embarrass your partner, ever. So you have to understand that the number one one of the number one principles in marriage, in any relationship, is don't embarrass your partner, right? Don't leave room for your partner to be embarrassed. And I felt like last year when he was speaking about the issue and he was speaking on athlete YouTube as well, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and they had to save face to able to come as a unified front. You must understand that the world is your enemy, and I mean that in the sense of no one else should break and penetrate your relationship. We see this with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve's story is simply about Adam failing to protect his kingdom and protect his domain, and allows a snake to get involved and speak to the wife. Okay, and within that space, it ends up disrupting the relationship that they actually have. Right? So you must understand that one of the principles in marriage is never allow your partner to be embarrassed. Don't do it in public. If there's something that's embarrassing, let's deal with it behind the scenes. But don't embarrass them in public. And I felt that's what he was doing. But we're going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit later. But first and foremost, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're subscribing, you're clicking on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. Okay, let's just read a little bit more of this script. Okay, let's read a bit more of the script that was kind of said. So it says, Simone Biles' husband, Chicago Bears safety Jonathan Owens, says she's a better athlete in their household. On Sports Illustrated spokesperson of the year, Red Carpet, Owens laughs, I'm not doing a backflips, pointing to Biles, a seven-time Olympic gold medalist, as the superior athlete. However, Biles praised Owens as the better cheerleader, admitting she loses focus during the football games. After the first half, I lose track of the game, Owens joked. She'll hear everyone yelling and asks what happened. The couple, who continuously support each other in their sports, have overcome online scrutiny, with Biles defending Owens after past comments were misconstrued. And the TJB crew, who do you believe is the better athlete? Now, I think it's very clear. The better athlete has always been Simone Biles. Okay? All right? That woman is decorated. In fact, there's very few athletes, men or women, that are better than her. In terms of having 7 gold medals, my guy, there is very few men in this world. It's like saying I'm dating Serena Williams, and who's a better athlete between her and Andy Murray? Now, Andy Murray's won some Grand Slams, but Serena Williams has won a lot of Grand Slams. You can't compare the two. So what does that mean? It means that when you're in a relationship with a person, you honor them by uplifting them. Okay? You honor them by uplifting them. It's really funny because there's a story in the Bible which talks about Nabal and Abigail. And King David, or at the time he's not a king, he's part of the servanthood of Saul. He's run away from Saul. He ends up finding Nabal's people in the wilderness. And in the wilderness, he sees their sheep and everything. He says, I want the sheep. I want to be able to have some of the feast. All right, I don't know what's going on outside, but forgive me. And the Nabal, whose name is meaning foolish, says no, and he's about to embarrass everybody and get everybody killed, because David's next thing was like, okay, that's what we're doing. I'm gonna kill everybody here. Okay, now for me to explain the context of it, it's very long behind it, but just know that he was king, so you couldn't really say no. And so he's about to kill everybody in the space. And so what you end up seeing is that with King David, with Nabal, is that Abigail comes and Abigail says, forgive my husband, he's a fool, he's that. She makes sure to protect the team. She does not embarrass her husband. She said, let me protect the team. Now, I say that's a bit of a twinge. It depends how you look at it, because some of the wording she used, she did call him a fool, but that was to save his life. But to protect the team, Nabal doesn't protect the team, so he doesn't think about the team. He thinks about himself. And I'm going to do another video on this with Nelly and Ashanti about not thinking about your decisions and how they actually affect your other partner and affect their business and affect the marriage. And sometimes we don't think about other people. We think about ourselves and what we want, and not realizing that selfishness affects everybody. And this is why Christ is such a prominent leader and a prominent person we have to model ourselves on, because when you look at Christ, he breaks it down to a point where he says, listen, I think about you. I think about you. When I make my decisions, I sacrifice myself for you. My love covers you. My love is to transform you, to bring you close to the image of the Son, etc., etc. I say that all to say, with Jonathan Owens, I am very proud of him, because, listen, last year I was looking at him like this could end in a divorce if he keeps on going the way he's going. But clearly he's learned, right? He's learning now. He's understanding now. You uplifting her, even if he was a better athlete, him uplifting her would never lose anything. We'd even say, if he was a better athlete, we'd say, nah, do you know what? He's just doing that because he loves his wife. And he would get more brownie points. There are things that you do that get you brownie points, and that get you that increase the longevity of your marriage and your relationship. One of those things, okay, is that you boast and you uplift and you exalt your partner. Not a pedestal, but you uplift them, you encourage them. You know what I'm saying to you? If I'm with my partner, like, for instance, let me give you an example. If I'm with a partner, and I would say to you, no, this is the most amazing woman ever. Look, there's time, and men do this. If you notice, men that are happy do this a lot. They'll tell you, my wife has popped up with some, and I'm not talking about the people that have been cheating. We're not talking about those people, but they'll tell you, look, my wife has popped up with some things with me. Like, I've learned so much from her. I've had to understand certain things from her. And when you say those things, it then comes back onto your wife. Will then, if she really has learned from you and loved you, she'll be like, I've learned so much from my husband. He's amazing. I wouldn't ask for any better partner. See, you uplifting her will end up with her uplifting you. Why? Because if you genuinely have done the work where you guys actually put each other first, this is going to come back to you. As you've planted, it shall reap the rewards. And that's why I said that what he said in the athlete thing about not knowing who his wife was, it was embarrassing, because it was like you exposed her to the rest of the world to be like, what the heck? Or because you wanted to show that it felt like you wanted to show that, you were a top dog yourself, a top gun. It doesn't matter. Look, we would have been happy for you irrespective. You didn't need to show us that you're a top gun, but by telling us you're a top gun, it also showed us that you weren't also you weren't confident and secure within your position. You know what I'm saying to you? If I have a wife that is whose credibility is so huge, I'm just gonna big her up. Like, yo, this woman here, crazy, the work she does. But you know why? But it's also because they are in similar fields, and that is probably why that was such a strenuous thing. But I want to end on this final note conclusion. If you want a relationship, big your partner up. Yeah, lift them up. You should be secure enough to be able to exalt them, not pedestalize them, not idolize them, but exalt them, lift them up, speak words of kindness and goodness. You should be able to big them up in public, because they are a reflection of you. In fact, the Bible says the woman is the glory of the man. So you should understand that if your wife or your partner is this amazing person, lift them up. It brings more radiance and light to you. It brings more radiance and light to you. Be secure in that. You know what I'm saying to you? So I am proud of him for learning that. It tells me that there's growth, and that tells me that the ship is not going to be wrecked. And actually, the ship is going to go a long way now. He's learning those lessons. And anybody out there as well, learn those lessons. There is no need to downplay your wife. Your wife is an amazing person to you, whoever it is, whether it's Simone Biles or whatever. But let me leave it there. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked to load. Little black book. You know what time it is.